Hello, my name is Gilles Mansillon. Namaste. I thought I'd come to you today to discuss a principle that is expanding astrology. Astrology is a science that understands the energies of the planets in relationship to the constellations and how they affect human consciousness. And so long ago we discovered astrology, and of course in all civilization there are different kind of astrology. For astrology has always been part of higher consciousness, and so whenever there was a civilization that turned into the soul, they would discover some kind of astrology to match their consciousness. And so those planets are really part of the higher mind. They're part of the solar system. And at first we used to use the Sun, the Moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury. But then one day we discovered Jupiter, and then we discovered Saturn, and then we discovered Uranus, and then Neptune, and then Chiron, and Pluto. And all those other planets have become part of what is known as astrology. And so there is 10 major planetary bodies that we use in astrology. Excuse me. And yet I came to realize that there are dozens of smaller planetary bodies that are very powerful, subtle but very powerful influence on it. And so eventually astrologers will have to incorporate those energies within their reading, because as our consciousness grows, those little tiny planets may be a lot more significant than what we had first thought or believed at first. And so yeah, I did a little map during the Lionsgate. I was inspired to create little drawings of the solar systems, including the about 100 celestial body, that the major, because there are thousands of them. And just to make their symbol inside, to place them on a map, so to speak, so that their symbol, just writing this symbol, which has affected me, and so I received the energies, for exchange energies with all those planets. And yet I've always, during this Lionsgate, a new asteroid came to me, and it was the planet Ceres. Ceres is the Mother Spirit. I received it as somewhat of a feminine counterpart of Chiron, in the sense that, not so much a counterpart, but a complementary energy, a very powerful healer, a very powerful Mother energy force that is I am still working with and still integrating. And so, because when celestial bodies come to you, they usually come one at a time. If you would have 100 different influences coming at once, you wouldn't be able to feel anything. And so they do come one at a time, and I do aspire to eventually be aware and conscious in my communication with all those space bodies. But for now, I am very much working still with the Chiron energy and integrating those new energies from Ceres. And so I'm going to share this little drawing, and I hope you find it interesting. It is just a sketch that will eventually become a painting. And so in this drawing, it's like it's a map of like the solar system. And we'll start with the Sun, and then we have Mercury, Venus, the Earth. Over there is Mars and the two satellites. And then there is all kinds of little satellites, that Vesta here, and Ceres here, and Child, and there is all kinds of little asteroids that are still that are very, very powerful and potent, yet I don't know them all yet. And so by writing their symbol, it is a begin, like an approach, greetings in some sense. And I thought it might be useful to put them on a map. This is the Black Moon Lilith, and here we have Jupiter with all this, with like 4 of its major moons out of the 64, I think it has. And then Saturn and a few of its moons, and then Uranus with some of its moons as well, and then Neptune's. All the moons of those other planets is not so much a very little influence on us now. It's more once we'd have achieved higher vibration in spirit, then we'll be connected and informed or invited to visit those. But for now, they're just a long-term potential. And then here there is Pluto with Charon, and then some of its other moons. And of course, there are other planets that I placed here. That it's the moon of Chiron. I called it star chart number 3. And here is Zeus. And those are just little planets that are part of what is called the trans-Neptunian space bodies, which is space bodies that lies outside of the range of Pluto. And so those will have powerful effect, but not just now. There is so much more we need to learn from within our own circle first before we can even expand our consciousness beyond Jupiter. And yet, all those influences will have eventually to be addressed by astrologers, because they have those are very, very important and very, very powerful energies that are circulating in the solar system. And this community of beings are all working in harmony for all life, and so we are being affected on mostly unconscious level, but most of those energies will eventually integrate our consciousness, and so we'll become more aware and more able to feel and see before we can even go and explore those regions. So anyway, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I wish you a good day. Namaste.